Greetings all, and welcome back to No Stash Nomad, a self-imposed Path of Exile challenge where I try to take on the Ubers, all without using a stash tab. We return to me buying an upgraded amulet with double multi. Throughout this session, I tried to make as many upgrades as possible, especially for damage. I ended up getting a boot service overnight in order to get better crit to proc elemental overload a bit more easily. Some of the harvest crafts I had used myself, but some leftovers I decided to sell in TFT. After having collected the Guardian fragments, I decided it was time to take on Shaper, non-Uber, just to kind of test my damage and get some Uber frags. I ended up selling a bunch of Cluster Jewel implicit crafts and helped this guy hit what he needed. I got super lucky on an expedition and ended up dropping 3 Exalted Orbs from a expedition monster. Opening the stack decks had also finally paid off. And finally, it was time to make the big upgrade. Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh with Shaper of Flame. These jewels allow for Ignite to occur after every hit, and moreover, it's 25% more damage with Ignites. Needless to say, my damage felt a lot better in T14 through 16 maps, and bossing also became a lot more convenient, as I didn't have to wait there for my Ignite to tick down with 25% less damage. This also helped immensely in expeditions because these mobs are fairly tanky, so it actually makes my build generally safer. I ended up just having to give up a few life nodes in order to allocate these 2 jewel nodes. I got lucky and hit another Alluring Bounty, which I sold for 1x 20c. After a little while, hitting 20 on gems, it was time to corrupt them. I didn't get too lucky with this, but I did end up hitting a 2120 Tempest Shield, which helps a little bit with block. I decided it was time to take on the Elder Slayers, as well as Cirrus, so I began running them. I was hoping that this would help alleviate some of the inventory space stress that I had because I had so many Conqueror maps. Normal Cirrus went down without any issues and no close calls, but the damage was still a little bit lacking on the build. It felt fine and enough to do Ubers for sure, but I may have still wanted to scale a bit more, possibly using a better Timeless Jewel, as well as just getting some more levels to put into small nodes. I then decided it was time to take on the Elder Slayer Imitation to get my other Atlas point. In my previous video, I had made note that I was going to run Syndicate. I kept count of how many join missions I had and decided it was time to start running them. I had 2 open prefixes on my boots and my gloves, and so I decided it was time to slam them. But this turned out to be an unfortunate decision. I also decided it was worth Aizen slamming my helmet, and I got lucky and it ended up hitting percent AoE. And, of course, the +2 to AoE, which would make my auras much stronger. After making these upgrades, I decided my character was strong enough to take on Uber Eater of Worlds. Now this fight ended up being a lot more difficult than I had realized, and some small mistakes led me to dying twice, which meant I had to toss 11 items total into the graveyard. Most of these were maps, and a few of them were just currency stacks. I did not count Scroll of Wisdoms or Portal Scrolls as item stacks because I feel like that's a little bit cheesy, so I decided to instead just throw away anything that wasn't that. Not too big of a loss, but kind of annoying because I had to run several maps in order to get back more currency to roll maps. But nonetheless, that is our first Uber down. My build can still be progressed a little bit in terms of damage, but everything's kind of settling into place. There's a lot of small upgrades to tankiness as well that can be made, but for the most part, it's just finishing off Eldritch Implicits, as well as possibly doing some quality of life things, and maybe different gem setups. Divine Blessing is something that I had tested and is unfortunately very clunky, and I don't like it. It takes up way too much life. But until next time, ciao.